This is Lori Goldman, CRNA at Skokie Hospital, and in this video, I'm going to orient you to our OR. In the first 2 minutes, I'll show you how to get up to our locker room, where to put your lunch away, and how to get to the workroom to pick up a Vocera. It's helpful on your first day to play this video and pause it until you get to each of those locations. Parking is just west of the hospital on the corner of Gulf and Knox. We're required to park in Lot E. You can park in any section. After you park, you're going to head towards the hospital. During COVID, enter through the medical office building. You'll get your temperature taken here, and this is where you'll pick up an N95 mask. Be sure to ask where they're located before you leave that lobby. It's helpful to add this website to your favorites on your phone. You can answer the COVID screening questions here to just show to the screener at the door. They also want to see your North Shore ID on entrance. Then head down the hallway towards the hospital. You'll be heading towards the main entrance, so take a right at the end of the hallway. Turn left before the double doors to the main entrance. Go all the way down to the end of the hallway where there'll be a waterfall on your left. We are undergoing construction currently, so now we have to use a different elevator to get to either the men's or the women's locker room. The elevators to the men's is just to the right of the waterfall, but first I'll show you how to get to the women's locker room. Follow the waterfall as it curves to the left. The elevator to the women's locker room is at the end of the hallway. Take a left exiting the elevator. The women's locker room is at the end of the hallway. To get to the men's locker room, take the elevators that are just to the right of the waterfall. Take the elevator to the second floor and take a right at the first hallway. Take a right at the end of the hallway. Go all the way down through the double doorway. At the very end of the hallway, take a right. The door to the men's locker room is right there as you make the turn. Your ID should work to get scrubs. If it doesn't, call the front desk at this number. There's cabinets right next to the scrub machines that will have hats and shoe covers. Available lockers are in the orientation handbook on Easy Call. It's a great idea to take a photo of this so you have it to refer to easily throughout your rotation. After you get your scrubs on, go out the other door in the locker room, not the one that you came in, and then you'll see this hallway. This door is where the lounge is. You can drop your lunch off here. If you didn't bring your lunch, we've got a cafeteria on the first floor that's open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So when you come out of the lounge, you want to take this door to come out to the OR front desk. Head left to get to the OR/PACU. Our OR configuration is really just a big rectangle of 12 ORs with the PACU in the middle. These are the double doors to the PACU/holding area. You're now standing in the hallway of the odd-numbered ORs. This is OR 3, and you're going to be heading left to pick up your Vocera. The workroom is on the even side of the hallway. You'll cross over to that side by taking a right at the first hallway that you see here by the status board. Take a left at the end of this hallway to the even side of the OR. The workroom is across from OR 8. You'll want to pick up a Vocera, which is located here in the back. And now you'll head back to your OR to set your room up. We have a lot of equipment that's different than Rush's OR. There's instructional videos posted on Easy Call for all the equipment here shown with a blue arrow if you haven't used them before. There's our fluid warmer, our bear hugger, our propofol pump, and the Fabius anesthesia machine. We have 2 computers in each room shown by the red arrows. The one that's attached to the anesthesia machine is used for intra-op epic, and the computer on wheels is used to look up your next patient. The other piece of equipment that's important to know about is the Neptune suction machine. If you haven't worked with one before, ask your attending so you'll be able to calculate blood loss. We use Pyxis anesthesia carts. If it's your first time logging in at North Shore, use your Epic username and password to get fingerprinted. If you have any problems getting in, use your Vocera and say call pharmacy to get help. There's a one-page laminated set of instructions on the side of the cart. It's very important to read, even if you've used these carts before, because we've got unique ways of wasting and decrementing. Decrementing each time you take a drug is extremely important so that pharmacy has an accurate count and refills when drug counts are low. An important safety measure to follow every morning when setting up is to do a demand count on 6 critical drugs. The availability of these drugs really should be thought of in the same way as you make sure you've got suction or you have an airway available. So in the top large drawer, demand count 3 drugs: phenylephrine, ephedrine, and Sux. In the second large drawer, demand count the last 3 drugs: epinephrine, atropine, and esmolol. If you don't have enough drugs to make it through your day, use your Vocera and say call pharmacy. When you waste a drug, a receipt will print out on the side by the red arrow. Put your wasted drug and the receipt in a plastic bag that's found up by the blue arrow, and then put the bag in the bin below by the green arrow. When you first turn on the computers in the morning, use the password unlock11 with the U being a capital U. Please don't go to the bottom where it says other user. The screen that'll pop up next will have the Epic icons, and then you can log in with your own Epic username and password. It's required to date, time, and initial each drug that's drawn up here. These white stickers will be on your anesthesia cart each morning to help make it a little easier. You just have to initial them. For propofol, just cross off the expiration time that's on the sticker and change it to 6 hours from the time the propofol is drawn up. At North Shore, we keep all the empty vials from medications drawn up for each case until the patient is dropped off in the PACU. This way, if a med error is suspected, we can go back and look through the vials. We standardize syringes here to prevent medication errors. Please put your Versed, fentanyl, and lidocaine in 3 cc syringes. Nothing except rocuronium should go into 5 cc syringes. There's another very important medication safety protocol that we follow at North Shore for spinal medications. All medications must be labeled, and there's a 2-person verification process for medication name, concentration, and that it is preservative-free. Okay, so now that your room's set up, it's time to go find your patient so you can do the pre-op. There's 3 places where they could be. First is the holding area, one of the places that we do our blocks. The color on the status board will be purple, and this circled patient is in holding bay 2. The other place we do blocks is in a special area of ASU called Fast Track. This patient circled in black is in Fast Track Bay B. All other patients that don't require blocks are in the rest of ASU. The patient circled in red is in ASU room number 8. So the first place that I'll show you out of those 3 places where your patient could be is the holding area / PACU. As you'll remember, it is straight through these double doors right next to OR3. When you walk through those double doors, to your left, you'll see these 4 bays set aside in PACU, and we call this the holding area. We do the blocks here before patients go back to the OR. On this side of the hallway is where we keep all the supplies for the blocks. When we do the blocks before patients go back to the OR, we hit the anesthesia start time at the time the patient is sedated. Make sure to connect the device in Epic to the monitor beforehand by first clicking this device button, then choose the monitor the patient is on. Before you go back to the OR, remember to disconnect that monitor from the patient by hitting this Remove Device button. Before you leave the holding area to bring your patient back to the operating room, you need to make sure that you have 2 items with you. The first is the paper chart, which is usually hanging in the file folder in the patient's bay, and the other is the antibiotic, which will be locked up in one of these units, and the combination is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we're going to leave the holding area by going out the same door that we came in here by OR3 and go down this hallway to the last 2 potential places that your patient could be, Fast Track and ASU. You'll find the Fast Track area of the ASU first. Take a left under its sign. You'll find your patient in bays marked A through F, along with all the equipment to do the blocks. Again, before you leave the Fast Track to bring your patient back to the OR, you need to make sure that you have the paper chart and the antibiotic. Both are found in the bay in this unit, and the combo is just 1, 2, 3. The rest of the patients will be found in the other section of the ASU. To get there, walk past the Fast Track area and turn left at the window. Just follow the signs to your patient's room number. The ASU rooms are all private with their own bathrooms. Again, make sure to bring the antibiotic and the paper chart. When your pre-op is done and your regional block is completed, you need to make sure that you drop your A from the status board. This is how we communicate with the other members of the team to let them know that we're ready to bring the patient back. All first cases must be in the OR by 7:30. If not, we don't want to be the reason that they're late because it gets written up. So make sure you've got time to get your block in after your room is set up and the pre-op is completed so that the patient gets in that room by 7:30. Okay, so now you've brought your patient back to the OR. One of the first things that you want to do is connect Epic to your monitor. To get there, you'll have to have already hit this anesthesia start button at the time you started the sedation. The next button that comes up is the Verify Patient Start Data Collection button. This is the one that connects Epic to the monitor, so don't hit this until you're in the OR. Then this screen pops up prompting you to scan the patient's wristband. You'll use this device on top of the anesthesia machine to scan the patient's wristband. If for any reason you couldn't get the scanner to work, just click Override and choose one of these reasons as to why it wouldn't work. After that, you'll be able to take care of your patient as usual without worrying about the charting because everything will automatically go over to Epic now. There's reminders on the computers on how to chart 3 specific medications. Toradol, Ofirmev, and all antibiotics must only be charted through the Active tab in Medications. This is going to get it into the MAR so that it can't be given until the appropriate dosing time. NorthShore has specific ways to dispose of leftover medications. We have these blue bins shown on your left in each OR for disposal of non-controlled meds. This way, the leftover meds don't go in the regular trash where it eventually gets into our water supply. Propofol gets squirted into these containers found on the wall near the Pyxis machine. Empty syringes can't go in the regular garbage. Please put in either the sharps container or the blue bin. Don't put anything except sharps or empty syringes into the sharps container. When you do a spinal, don't put the whole tray in here, just the sharps. At the end of each case, disconnect the monitor from Epic by hitting the Verify ID band button and scan the wristband again. When you remove the monitors at the end of the case, please hang them up so they're off the floor and can't get damaged by carts, etc., rolling over them. The anesthesia techs are called automatically after each case and will turn the room over for you. One last thing about our break and lunch system. We keep track of them on Easy Call. To get there, go to the home screen and then click on the coffee cup. The screen that pops up next is the break status board. The person in room 7 with the red lunch basket hasn't gotten lunch yet. The person in room 11 with the yellow lunch basket thinks that they'll probably be able to get their own lunch, but we'll still check on them a little later to make sure that they've eaten. And the last person in GI whose lunch basket is grayed out has already got lunch or they're getting lunch now. I hope you have a great first day. If you have any questions, ask any attending or CRNA.